Oh, we're live. We are live. This is Coach Arnie. I was fixing my hair. That's what I always do. Every time I have a rule when I have to start thinking about my hair, it's time for a haircut. But we're all in crazy times right now. So I do have a private stylist that I found who's willing to, that I can go underground. Because, last person I went, she's very nice, had to wear the mask thing and everything. I just not into that. So she told me the other day, whenever, but I'm trying to time it because I've got a trip coming to the Grand Canyon, which I'm going to talk about here in just a second. But first, we're on the WGSN-DB Going Solo Network, TV and podcast, #1 internet talk. Just wanted to thank CC Schatz again for the opportunity here. And this, of course, is the Health, Love, and Life Show, and I'm Coach Arnie. And feel free to call me or text me, 602-390-9144. I'm sure she'll flash my number up here at some point. But, we're here every week. We try to be here every week, and we try to have either a guest or me rambling on for about 45 minutes on some topic. But in my private coaching speaking practice, one of my partners and I came up with an idea this week. What I would consider, we call it a halo product, which means I was sharing that with somebody today because I never heard of it either. But so I'm acting like Mr. Big Shot, like I know what it is. Yeah. But it's a halo, like an angel. You have the halo over their head, so it's kind of like a higher end product. And they came to me in a group I was with, and we were talking about things that we do, and I was sharing my passion with the Grand Canyon, and they go, Arnie, I go, are you kidding me? That's a gold mine. And I go, because I'd been talking about it for years, and just recently at a birthday party with my son-in-law's brother, who's my age. He's done very well in business. He started hiking a little bit. I said, hey, man, his name is John. I said, John, I should take you down to the Grand Canyon. He goes, man, that'd be great. I go, yeah. So it kind of reminded me of that. I said, people have done this for years. We used to have team building events, do things where we bond together. And so I started working on some ideas for executives and for teams to bond them, because I used to do it as a coach myself. I used to take my athletes and do some crazy adventure every weekend, climbing a mountain or running in the river bottom. I even took them where I currently live now when my house was first being built, because I'm old. So it was a long time ago. I brought my team out here and we showed them where I was going to move, and we scaled the mountain by my house that none of us, me included, had ever been up. Now I've climbed that thing thousands of times. We all this is how crazy I was back then. We just attacked it, and we all found different ways to get up to the top. And believe me, the way that some of these guys were coming up was a straight vertical climb. And so in today's age, I might have been up on charges if somebody knew what I was doing today, but that was almost 35 years ago. So that was kind of fun memories, but we built camaraderie, we built love. And, to this day, people still talk about that. So one of the things I'm doing, I'll just throw it out here before we get started officially here, is that if you know anybody, or if you're somebody and you hear this message, I am on October the 11th. I'm heading up to the Grand Canyon. I'll probably do unless things change radically, I'll do my classic get in, get out. I'm doing a rim to rim to rim. So I'm not doing any mid-range distances this time, but I'm doing a rim to rim to rim. And if you want to come with me, we'll work out the details and the financial aspect of it. I'm going to make it incredibly reasonable, but you have to be fit. And you let me know, and I'll take care of all the details for you. But you need to be fit. And won't even be a question. We'll have a conversation. If I don't feel that you're at that level, I won't do it because it's too dangerous. But I know this: if you are fit, I'll change your life. I'll change your life in less than 20 hours. So let me know, and we'll have some fun, and I'll teach you a whole lot of stuff about one of the most magical places on the planet. And it's kind of a beta test that I'm running for my product. Even though I virtually did it with some guys in July, I couldn't make the trip, but they had a great time, and they're going back. Actually, they're going back the following weekend. I can't make it because I'm helping somebody else do a triathlon, unless that gets canceled. But so just want to throw that out here. Just contact me. You've got my phone number, 602-390-9144. You can contact me through here. You can contact me on all the different social media. You can Google me, Arnie Fonseca Jr. So which means if you can't get a hold of me, you didn't try. And that's okay. Because to me, this is serious. I'm going. I'll be done Saturday late morning. Then I'm heading down to Flagstaff and spend the rest of the weekend with my wife. And but I can help with all the arrangements, hotels, all that stuff. You just got to contact me and let me know, and we'll figure all that stuff out for you. One thing you got to bring to the table this time is fitness, because there's not enough time for me to get you fit. So, change tonight. And we've talked about change before. It was just on my mind this week, because a lot of different things in my life that are going on. And it's so hard for people. And so my title here there, CC Flash Up, life's only constant. The only thing you can ever really count on, guys, in life is change is going to happen. And if you're like a lot of people, when I say a lot, I'm going to say probably more than 90%, you don't like it. On the other hand, I like it. I embrace it. I like to learn new things. Now, I'll have to be honest with you, technology does frustrate the crap out of me, because the changes are coming so fast. Because as an athlete, we're always changing stuff. I mean, playing football, coaching football, every week was a new game plan. I mean, even though we had a basic mission, who we were. We're going to run the ball. We're going to throw the ball. We're going to whatever. We're a blitzing team, or what. I'm getting kind of in the weeds there. But every week we would have to adjust to our new opponent. What were we going to put in? What plays we were going to run? What things we were going to do? How we were going to adjust. So I was always used to change. As an athlete, I use the Grand Canyon. One of the main things that I look at, I'll follow it. The only thing reason I'll change this coming up event is if it's a lightning storm in a canyon. I won't go, because I know the dangers of that and the flash floods. So hopefully that won't happen. But everything else, I have to be ready for. If it gets super cold, the last year I went a little bit later than this, and when I got to the North Rim, I literally had frostbite on my hands for almost 2 months until I got my full feelings back in my fingers. And I thought I was ready, but I mean, that was things that I had to adapt to on the fly. I had to be ready to that. Some people would panic. Most people do panic. But one of the things that athletics and things like doing the Grand Canyon, which is why I'm doing it for people that are interested, because it teaches you so many lessons. And one of those is managing change, how to be nimble, how to be quick, how to be able to pivot very quickly. Could be weather, just all kinds of things, equipment. One of the things I had to learn one time, not in the canyon, but another place, was I lost my GPS. I got lost multiple times. And did I panic? Yeah, I wanted to panic, but I knew I couldn't. And but I kept just trying to stay calm and was not afraid to ask for help. those, I mean, I had to learn, and I got read the Riot Act by different people about some of the things that I did that were maybe a little reckless. But, to me, they would be reckless if I did them again. But that day there was a learning because nobody planned. Because you had so many different variables there. The weather was so terrible last year with the snow, and I didn't do this until June. Nobody ever does this. It was San Jacinto in California. Nobody ever does this in June, and so that was part of it. The weather, the snow, still at the top. And, it was just, it was just a mess. So my Garmin, forgot my batteries. Just did double check, just goofy stuff. So, but you got to be able to change it. And that, so it is the only constant in life, guys. So no matter how we want life to work out for us, we've talked about how we respond, how we react to stuff, whether it's a relationship, whether it's a job, health issue, anything. Stuff happens. We have to adapt. We have to respond appropriately. And sometimes we have to change. And one of the things we need to remember is that we are the only ones responsible for inspiring us to change. Meaning that no one's going to make you change. No one's going to tell you to change. If you hire somebody, maybe if you hired somebody to coach you, like if I have a client that tells me, Arnie, you have to make me change. I don't know if I can make you change. I can keep you accountable, because if you ever heard this, if somebody says, well, I'm going to get married, I'm marrying this lady because she's going to change me. She's going to settle me down. No, you're going to resent her. You're going to resent her. So the difference between that and a coach is I don't really care. You're hiring me to do a job, and the job is to keep you accountable. I'm going to keep you accountable. Does that mean you have to do it? Nope. It's your money if you want to waste it, and a lot of people do waste their money on that kind of stuff. So to me, it's not emotional. I don't really care. For me, I want you to do incredibly well. I just can't make you do anything. I can't. And you can't marry somebody to make you do anything either. You might agree to it. You might think it's really funny, cute. But when you're in it, I promise you it's not going to be funny and cute. It's going to be resentful. And it will probably end your relationship. So you're the only one that can change you. And we're going to go through that process here in a minute. But I also want you to bring another point across. In life, because we've all heard this before, oh, I'm too old to change. It's too late. I should have done that 50 years ago. No. It's never too late to change. Never. I don't care what anybody says. I don't care what anybody says. There was a great movie a few years ago, and it had, what was her name? Her dad's name was Jane Fonda. So Jane Fonda's in this movie. Can't remember her name, but she was an older lady and wealthy, and just known as a big pain in the rear end to the community. So they were going to write her obituary, and the person that wrote her obituary didn't really have much to say. She didn't do anything. She's like the person when I've done talks, and I'll bring up a scenario. I'll say, why, when a 19-year-old passes away, are there 1,000 people at their funeral crying? What's that? Why are they all there? Well, they're there because of what could have been. Could have been. The potential of a 19, 20-year-old person is amazing. It's limitless. Obviously, some are there because they're good friends and family, but come on, unless they're an entertainer, right? But it's what could have been. At the same time, like this lady in the movie, somebody in their 80s dies, and there's nobody there. Why? You ever think about that? The reason is because they didn't do anything. They didn't inspire anybody. They didn't make anybody remember them by what they did. They didn't live a life that left a legacy. They just lived, which is okay, but they didn't bring any value. They didn't use their gifts to help. And so when she saw that, being a transactional person, she said, well, wait a minute. I want some good stuff in there. So she started trying to go out and do good stuff. It's fine. But it ended up being where she was working with some kids and stuff. It was kind of cute, but at the same time, it had a great message. And because by the end of the movie, it wasn't about what they wrote about her. In my world as a Christian, it was about God or St. Peter or whoever meets you at the Golden Gates and says, job well done. It's not about the newspaper thing. It's about job well done. And that's your legacy. So she changed. She changed. Nobody made her change. Life did. And so that's why I say life's only constant is change. Because stuff is continually going to happen to us. People die in our lives. Hey, when you start getting older like me, a lot of people die. I mean, I've had my best friend die. I've had my parents die. I've had one of my children die. I mean, I don't wish that on anybody, but people are going to die. I'm going to die. But I truly believe as a man of faith that God has a hedge of thorn around all of us. What does that mean? It means a protection around us until we're done what we're supposed to do. I believe there is a protection around us until we all have a job to do, whatever that might be. We've all been given gifts. And until you do that, unless you just refuse to, I believe there's a hedge of thorn around us, protection. See? So whenever you choose to get around to it, whenever you choose to do what you want to do, or do what you should do. But again, it's not about, as Jane Fonda did in the movie, she decided for herself that it was time to change. So it's not too late. What I'm trying to make to everybody here, because I hear that all the time. Oh, it's too late for me to do that kind of stuff. No, it's not. It's never too late to be nice. It's never too late to be kind. Okay, so we change when we're ready. And part of change too is the fact that we hear this all the time. I don't have time. I don't have time to read that book, or listen to that audio book, or listen to podcast, or go to the gym, or go for a walk, or work on my relationship, or get in a relationship. I don't have time for any of that. And I love this. And I've been using it for years. But I love this analogy. It's a real life analogy. It's powerful. But I want everybody to, we're going to take a quick break here right now because I'm going to hold that thought because it's a good one. So hang on, and we'll be right back. All right. So this scenario, I want you to think of that. I've got this big jar, like a big tea jar. You've seen, like they're gallon jars, 2 gallon. I don't know how many gallons, but they're big jar. And then I'm going to bring out like 4 different boxes. One box has these big rocks. Big rocks. They got to be big enough to almost get into um, the jar, right? So they got to be, the jar's got an opening like that, so the rock's got to be, small enough to get through that. So they put these big rocks in there, right? As many as you get in there. I don't know, half a dozen. I don't know how many you get in there. Put all those big rocks in there, and then you tell the group, okay, is the jar full? And everybody goes, yeah, you can't get any more rocks in there. Okay, good. And then I pull out the next box, which has some gravel, small little chunks of gravel. So I just take that, pour that into the jar. And gravel gets in there and it goes all the way to the top. And I go, all right, we full up? And they go, yeah, you can't get any more gravel, and that's it. That's all you can do. That's all you can do. I go, okay, hold on a minute. So then I take the next box, and it's got sand in it. So I pour that sand in there, all the way up. Now it's all the way to the top, and all the little spaces are filled up. And I go, now, is it full? Yeah. Man, you can't get any more in there now. That's tight. And I go, we got one more. But inside this box, I got a pitcher of water. Now I'm going to pour that water in there. As much water as I can. It gets in there. Soaks up in that sand. Gets between those rocks. Tiny little spaces. Until the water comes very edge of the jar. And I say, now is it full? I think you got it now. So guys, listen, we all have the same amount of time every day. We all got the same 24 hours. I'm as guilty of this as anybody else. But it's all about what we choose to do. When we think we're full, when we think we don't have any more time. Do you? Can you do more? I'm not saying that you have to go without sleep. I'm saying, are you spending extra time on your social media? Are you on your phones? Can you listen to a podcast of something you want to learn? Can you read a book or listen to an audiobook of something you want to learn? Can you work on something that you need to change in your life so maybe you can attract that young lady into your life or that young fella into your life? I don't know. Is there some new skill you can learn for that job you want? Is there a book inside of you, in your heart, in your soul that you want to write? But if you only wrote 300 words a day, which might take you 30 minutes, literally, about a page like that. If you just did that once a day, in 30 days, you'd have 9,000 words. 9,000. I think most regular sized books, I think it's somewhere around 180 pages or somewhere around 50, 60,000 words, maybe, something like that. So just writing a page a day in 6 months, you wrote a book. So, some people, I hear it all the time, well, I don't have time to do a podcast. I say the same thing when I had one, that I didn't have one. Then, do it. Or a show like this. Contact somebody like CC and says, man, I'd like to do that, but I don't have time. Well, you do. You just don't know you do. And maybe there's something that you can bring out of you that you've been hiding because you didn't feel you had time to do it. So we can change the way we think. And we can adapt to the changes that are happening in our life. maybe um, something's going on in your relationship, and it's a behavior pattern that you're in. Maybe let's just get real. Maybe you're having trouble with substance abuse. Maybe you're drinking too much. Maybe you're doing drugs. Maybe you're not coming home at a decent hour. Maybe you're not treating your spouse with respect. Now, he or she can't make you do that. You have to want to change and be more loving, be more accepting, be more forgiving. We talked about last week how forgiveness is not earned. Forgiveness is given. It's a gift. So if you're bitter because you're not willing to change and forgive, that's on you, right? Can't blame somebody else. So again, these are things, as we just kind of talk here, that we are responsible for, because aren't we technically 100% responsible for what we do? Well, not what we do in life. Actually, what happens to us in life. For our past and our future. Is that right? Some of you might be thinking, what are you talking about, man? I can't be responsible for what other people do to me. No, you can't. But you're responsible for how you choose to respond. You are responsible for maybe being in that situation. Maybe you shouldn't have been there. You made the choice to go there. You made the choice to be with that person. You did. Unless someone's got a gun to your head making you do stuff. But when we assume that mindset of I'm responsible, things start to happen. It takes time. But changes start happening to us. Changes start happening to us. So let me go over my chart. And I was looking for it earlier. I thought I had it here. But I'm going to draw it real quick. If I don't, I thought I did. And I keep my note cards right here. And but we've talked about change before. Okay. So let me show you what I'm talking about here. Take a card here. Let me draw a bigger picture here. Hang on 1 second. Let's see if I can get it here real quick. This little chart, if you can see it, those little steps along the way are the steps of change over time. Okay, over time. And this first step is to make a decision. When we make a decision, it's like a bomb going on inside of us. Boom. Oh my God, I'm going to lose weight. I'm going to clean up my act. I'm going to stop smoking. I'm going to quit drinking. Whatever it might be. You're going to change. We've talked about this before. That alone is probably the hardest thing about change, is making a decision. How you're going to respond, how you're going to, or what you're going to do. I'm going to go for a walk every day, whatever it might be. That's like an atomic explosion. That takes a lot of energy. And then what's going to happen next is chaos. And that's part of what I was talking about earlier about the only constant in life is change. Because chaos shows up anytime there is change going on. Anytime. With this whole COVID thing, was that not chaos? Was there a lot of change going on? Yeah, it affected everybody. It affected my life. I'm sure it affected your life too. It's still affecting lives. I have a client that I can't see anymore, and she's not doing well. And there was a thought in my head this weekend that I'm never going to see her again because she's not doing well. She's 90 years old. Okay. And she doesn't understand about change because no one's taking the time to love on her and share with her. Her family can't even see her. So chaos is always going to be around change. Always. I promise you. And once we can work our way through the chaos, which takes about 6 weeks, sometimes 2 months, once we get through that chaos, the uncomfortable feeling of what we're doing, new stuff, getting up early, going to the gym, being nice, being more forgiving, more accepting of people. Once you're through all that, now you can start to install the new behavior that you're wanting to be. You're wanting to be more loving. You're wanting to be more forgiving. You're starting to just automatically now you're installing that, reminding yourself, coaching yourself through it. You're getting yourself up every day at 5 o'clock or whatever it might be, so you get to the gym and get to work or whatever you need to do. Going for a walk, okay, and day after day, week after week, month after month. Pretty soon, it's automatic. Got it. It takes time. It takes about 90 days, sometimes longer, sometimes less, for these changes to be permanently made in the brain. The changes that occur in the brain take about 90 days or less. If you're working at it, I'm working with a couple guys swimming right now, and we're having to do what's called neural pattern training. So they've literally had to unlearn how they swam and learn how to swim. And it's taken months. Months. But they're getting it. It's exciting to see it. It's like, and then you have to be able to have some grit, some determination. I mean, have you ever watched a baby trying to learn how to walk? Did they go, okay, I did 20, I'll rest till tomorrow? There's no time limit in their little heads. They just keep going until they are exhausted or they get it. And if they're exhausted, they pass out, go to sleep, and they wake up the next day and they go at it again. What happens to us? Why do we stop? What do we know that they don't know? What do we know that they don't know? Because how would your life be if you had that kind of determination as that little person trying to learn how to walk? I don't know. Something changed. Something happens is where we kind of give up on that. So once this thing is automatic, we've got a nice new pattern in our brain. Man, things are good. Things are a lot better. Well, if it's something that you wanted to do, right? It takes time. Then you go on to the next one, and the next one, the next one. You click off all those things in your list that you want to get better at. Pretty soon, you're a different person. I've seen it happen. Pretty soon, people go, "Who are you?" Man, and I've heard people tell me, "Oh, that's not who you are. That's not who you are." And you just got to persist through that. Because people are like crabs that will try to pull you down. They'll try to knock you down any chance they get to see if you're doing better. If you're improving yourself, they would try to knock you down all day, every day. Don't you love people? The thing is, I do love people, but I just know that people are inherently bad. Bad. Here, let me throw something at you. I don't know if I mentioned it last week or not. Do you realize how much easier it is to be bad? Think about that for a minute. It's a lot easier if someone makes you angry just to give them what for. Give a piece of your mind, isn't it? Come on, you know it is. It's a lot easier just to scream at them, give them a double finger salute, whatever else you want to do. It's a lot easier to jump in that refrigerator or freezer and grab that ice cream and then grab the donuts. Isn't it? Come on, you know it is. It's easy. Dang it. It's easy to sleep in. So, you know, that's why change is so hard. And that's why, you know, I've said this many times before, that when we start to make these hard choices in our life, and a hard choice may be how we respond to something in life, something that's changing. You know, maybe they changed the highway on your way to work and you had to find a new way to get there. Okay. Maybe they changed the dress code at work and now instead of wearing jeans and a sweater, you have to wear a suit. Maybe they changed the menu at your favorite restaurant. See, we don't control any of that. The only thing we control is what we want to do. I don't have to go there anymore. Right? I don't have to be with that person anymore. I don't have to do this. Or I want to do that. I want to be with that person. I want to go to that place. Sounds exciting. You embrace the change. Something new. You're gonna learn. You know. But you don't have to, because hard choices in life, whether that might be to discipline your child, leave your relationship, start a relationship, they're hard choices are tough, aren't they? They're tough, but they make your life easier because you're not dwelling on stuff. Easy choices, we do those all day long. That's the crap that we do all day. It doesn't get us anywhere. Eat the ice cream. Yeah, okay. Stay home. Okay. Don't go to the gym today. Okay. Yell at that guy for being a jerk. Okay. Easy choices. We're not gonna go anywhere. Right? It's not gonna get us anywhere. If anything, it's gonna wear us out. But making those tough choices, it's gonna make a big difference in our life. Making those tough, hard choices. Because those choices are gonna make our life. Okay? They're gonna make us. And maybe those hard choices are who we hang around. What kind of people do we want to be around? Maybe hard choices where your kid's going to go to school. Maybe they're going to be homeschooled. Maybe your choices are, I don't know. Maybe it has to do with religion. Maybe I don't know. So many different things. I don't know. You know. And just make these choices. And then I want to finish the last few minutes, and I want to talk about I guess it would call, what do you call? Man, it's a word made of letters, obviously. But it's called Canai. Canai. Canei. I've known about this for years. I recently saw it on something they used different letters and called something. It's cool. That's the way most stuff is. Everything is synchronized. Very few people have been original. But Canai is constant and never-ending improvement. What does that mean? It means constant change, guys. that if you can embrace the concept of kanai, you will start to live a life at a higher level. Constant and never-ending improvement. Remember I said earlier about some people don't like some. Many people don't like change. Don't. But if you look at it differently, if you look at it as improvement, now that's a big difference, isn't it? Improvement. And it's got to be constant because things are changing every day. One of the things that drives me crazy, like I said, was the tech space is evolving so fast. Changes are so fast that it drives me crazy. It's so fast. I've got to really stay on my toes since I'm not tech savvy. I want to learn it, but I want to learn it at my own speed and have somebody helping me so I understand it. Because it can be, for me, it can be very overwhelming. So I need help. So everything in life though is changing. Our relationships, our health, stuff happens. You get a little older like me and you start to slow down a little bit, or at least perception is you will, but you don't have to. If you change, maybe you eat a little better, maybe you change your routine. Yeah, right. It's up to you to change. No one's going to make you change. See? And so with constant and never-ending improvement, there really is no finish line. That's kind of a good thing. It's kind of like being on a journey in life. Let's say you start over here in, I don't know, Maine. You get on a choo-choo train. And you start going through the country. All the different states. I don't want to mess up all the states up there, but let's say you get down through New York and then Pennsylvania, and then you start going across the country, or maybe you just go down the coast. Then you're going to go across, through all the different southern states. And you'll get through Arizona, where I live, and get all the way to the coast. Maybe go. But life is a journey. And instead of constantly staying focused on the end, which is that legacy, which is what Jane Fonda tried to do. If she would have spent a little time at each stop along the way, made a friend, did an act of kindness, loved on somebody. After all those stops on that long journey, there's a good chance she would have impacted some people, and she would have created a legacy. Most people don't do that. They get on the train, they put their head down, and they just ride their way through life. And we're really the only ones, guys. We are the only ones that can change us. From a spiritual standpoint, God can talk to you, guide you, encourage you, but ultimately with free will, you can do what you want. And that goes for anybody. As long as you're not breaking the law, you can do whatever you want. And I guess that's the beauty of it. We can do what we want, guys. And you're in control of that. You are 100% in control of the changes you want to make in your life. And you are 100% responsible for how you're going to respond to the changes that happen to you in life. And that's power. That's power, but you have to embrace it. And when you do, it will change your life. All right, guys, let's go, Johnny.